Party conference. We're going to talk to Tory MP for Lichfield, Michael Fabricant. Good morning, Michael. How are you? How is conference?
Bev.
Are you having a lovely time?
I'm very well.
Did you have a very late night? Did you have a very late night?
Can't you tell I'm croaking? I'm croaking because I had such a fantastic evening. And in fact, everyone's having a very good time at conference. I think people on the platform are having little shaky moments at times, but I can tell you that the delegates are all very, seem in a very good mood. They were quite depressed, I think, on the Sunday, but things have picked up one hell of a lot.
Well, good to know. I like your positivity, Michael, because out here in the real world, it looks like it's an absolute shower of shame, to be frank, particularly with the U-turning.
I wondered what you were going to say just then.
I'm very professional, don't you worry.
What you were...
But, you know, that U-turn on the top rate of tax yesterday has left a very bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, not least the fact that it happened in such a short period of time, and it raises concerns about whether she can be trusted, whether Liz Truss can be trusted to make decisions which she's going to stick to, or is she just going to blow with the wind?
Well, all politicians have to blow with the wind up to some extent if they want to stay in government. I actually thought the 45p cut, although not that it was got to 45p yet, but the 45p cut was a sensible idea because it only raised £2 billion, and most economists said actually there would be so much tax evasion and lack of investment that it would cost the Exchequer more by actually doing it. But you know what? The timing was wrong. I think Kwasi recognises the timing was wrong. I further understand that Liz Truss didn't even know that Kwasi was going to announce this. So I think Kwasi looked suitably, how can I put it, suitably shamed yesterday when he spoke to conference. And I don't think we'll be making mistakes like that again.
Of course, it's easy to forget, Michael, that most of her MPs wanted Rishi Sunak to be leader. It was the party itself, the party members who voted her in. That automatically means that she's batting on a very sticky wicket from the off, is she not? Is it that she just doesn't have the backing of the party, and so she's feeling a little bit... I'm kind of going to use the word bullied, but I don't mean bullying in the true sense of the word. But maybe she feels a little ganged up on because maybe the party, the MPs, are not behind her.
I think you ask me longer questions than I give you answers, Bev. But anyway, you know, it's an interesting point you make. I mean, the vast majority, of course, of party members would have preferred for Boris to stay and not actually have any change at all. And personally, I think it was a big mistake. I've been on GBNews before saying, you know, Boris should stay, but hey, you know, that's gone. Look, people, the party has to accept, the parliamentary party has to accept that the Conservative parties have done sight more than just 300 or so MPs. It's the hundreds of thousands of party members out there which makes this party work. It's the hundreds of thousands behind me at the party conference who realise that it's got to work. So MPs, if they carry on what you're suggesting, will find that, yeah, the general public will say, you know, what a show this is, what a shambles. So we've got to pull together now because we have got a good and strong economic plan, and we've got to take advantage of Brexit, you know, because poor old Boris was shifted across, if you like, because of COVID. We couldn't get all the legislation through. We need to take advantage of Brexit by deregulating. Labour will never do that because deregulation is an anathema to backbench Labour MPs. But if we don't do that, you know, we haven't taken really every single advantage we could out of leaving the European Union and control from Brussels.
Michael, if you want to have a competition on words per minute, you're definitely going to beat me on that one, so don't worry about that. Michael Heseltine has had a little go at her this morning, of course, which is not good. Some older voters particularly will remember Michael Heseltine working for Margaret Thatcher, a very well-respected MP at the time, and he said that she's packed her cabinet with cronies off the back benches, and she appeared to have no coherent plan behind her mini-budget. How will she feel about that kind of attack?
From Michael Heseltine. I just lost you for a second because did you say Michael Heseltine?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, well, Michael Heseltine has been a terminal moaner ever since he left the government. I mean, he criticised John Major, he criticised David Cameron, he criticised Boris, and surprise, surprise, he's now criticising Liz Truss. I think Liz Truss will say, oh my God, who said this? Michael Heseltine. Oh, well, that's pretty, you know, standard procedure. You get these people now in the House of Lords and they're sort of very, very semi-detached. They're not even semi-detached. They're in their own park on an island somewhere. And they love bitching. But you know what? Party members don't like people who go around bitching and being disloyal. And actually, most of the general public know that he's a has-been.
Well, if we're talking about popularity, Michael, can we talk about your arrival at conference? Because you literally had a physical attack, did you not, from some of the less supportive members of the Birmingham public? Didn't somebody actually shove you as you walked into the building?
No, that was reported. As I like to say, you know, stories of my death are greatly exaggerated. No, what did happen was somebody who should have known better directed me right into the middle of the crowd. So a crowd of demonstrators who had turned up on the Sunday to demonstrate. It hasn't been like that yesterday or today. And people were shouting at me in my ear. One guy was blowing a trumpet in my ear, a plastic one, and I grabbed it off him and chucked it away. He looked quite astonished. Had another young lad bouncing around me saying, oh, you know, but nobody touched me. But I tell you what, there has to be real questions about the policing. And part of the problem is that the entrances to the conference this year are far and few between. And where they had the demonstrators meant that everybody, not just me, I was joking last night about this, but years ago I used to work for the BBC, and I was wearing a BBC lanyard as part of my disguise, because I had it all ready, you see, to say to people, oh, you know, don't shout at me, I'm just a lighting engineer, or, you know, I'm just a sound man. But nobody believed me, and I think it's the hair that's the giveaway. But there you go. But no, nobody touched me, but there has to be questions asked about the policing.
It's going to take, Michael, it's going to take more than a lanyard to disguise you to the members of the public there in Birmingham. Just giving you a little bit of a tip there. You're rather a distinctive character. Let's just talk about benefits at the moment. What is going to go on with the benefits in the hands of the Conservatives? Penny Mordaunt has been telling people that she supports benefits rising in line with inflation. Other figures in the party have said the opposite. Prime Minister is neither denying nor confirming that's the plan. What's going to happen, and what do you want to happen?
Well, look, we all want benefits to stay as they are and rise with inflation. We all want no extra taxes. We all want to be as rich as we are at the moment, except we want to be even richer and for poor people to be rich. But, you know, at the end of the day, I guess there are going to have to be cuts. But where the cuts will be, I have no idea. Maybe there won't need to be cuts. Maybe that the main part of the Chancellor's package, which was not controversial, will generate the extra income, which will mean that actually we won't have to cut anything. But don't ask me, don't ask Liz Truss, because there's a whole procedure now going on in the Treasury looking at all this, and that won't be resolved for some time. But interesting times ahead of us, I must say.
Absolutely. Michael, nice to talk to you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Keep that lanyard around your neck. In fact, ask Tom Harwood. He'll give you a GB News one. Much more fashionable than those old BBC ones.
He told me GB News couldn't afford a lanyard, so he's just wearing a standard one.
Oh,
but,
we can.
Yeah,
oh,
I mean,
we
you
can.
know, get me a GB News lanyard. I'll be wearing it.
We'll get you a lanyard. We'll get you a mug. We'll get you all. I've got a pen here. What else do you need? Right.